This is the Snake Wolf hissing at you, and today we are going to take a look at the Masters of the Universe Origins Rattlor, evil creature with the quick strike head from the Snakemen, with their little snaky logo on the front. Turn around the back of the box, and we see Rattlor fighting against Snake Armor He-Man. Rattlor serves as one of King Hiss's most loyal henchmen and general in the Snakemen army. So yeah, in the 2000 X cartoon, where they really had Rattlor as a big part of it, he was pretty much always called General Rattlor, and he was in charge of the forces underneath King Hiss. Let's go ahead and take him out of the package. And of course, with Rattlor, we get the comic book, and at this time, they were still putting in the Rulers of the Sun characters. So we see Snake Armor He-Man traveling Eternia. Rise of the Snakemen. Is that the name of the comic? Yeah. Um, and we see the goddess contact He-Man to let him know that Eternia is in grave danger. Although I'm a bit confused. Wait. The only... Okay, so He-Man actually got poisoned by King Hiss somehow. And he later wakes up and there is Boltman from Trifixia and the Sun People, basically the rulers of the Sun universe. And we've got Man-at-Arms and Stratos, normal. And they all get together and have a little party. And then we find Rattlor and Hamilcon is there. And a fight ensues. And Rattlor plays, so far, very little part in this battle. You know, I don't think I ever read this comic originally. That would explain why I have no idea what the hell is going on, because it looks like they stole some kind of... It looks like they stole Venom. Or is it supposed to be the antidote for the Venom? So seriously, okay. So in this wave was Rattlor, Cobra Khan, Snake Armor He-Man, and Boltman. We saw all of them except for Cobra Khan, which instead of Cobra Khan, they showed us Camel Khan, and you can tell because he's got the golden pincers and he's got the hood, which they should have really just given the hooded head to Cobra Khan also. I mean, that would have made more sense. So anyway, here it is, Masters of the Universe, Rise of the Snakemen with the Mary Sue Boltman. Most of the Rulers of the Sun characters kind of come off as Mary Sue's, to be perfectly honest, when you read the comics. Anyway. Battle Rattle Action. So, you know, if you need a toy to give to your toddler, you can also give them this one to use as a rattle. First off, he comes with the same stupid snake staff that so many of these things come with. I really wish they would have designed something better than this, because these feel super pointless. And aside the fact that, you know, there's basically only one decent way to actually have them in a hand and have them work. Yeah, it's kind of stupid. Before we get around to dealing with the tail here, let's go ahead and do the articulation. We've got boy joint at the head, and the head pops off. And I feel like this is the most overused head ever. However, at the same time, when you use the green version of it, that came with like some of those troop builders, the snake pack. It makes him look like he's Kermit the Frog. Arms pop out as per normal. Even though there's a rattle inside of here, this still comes off. This is actually designed differently for the crotch piece because the belt is a separate piece from the rest, and it's very well designed, and it looks pretty nice that way. Rattler's feet come off. We do have the standard articulation all around, up and down. Single joint at the elbow, which also has a little bit of a hinge, or the hinge and the spin. The hand rotates around and it has an in and out hinge, though the design of the arm does kind of make it difficult to make that usable. The waist is hindered a bit by the belt, as it does go up high enough to where it is definitely rubbing against there. Legs go up. I don't know why, but I just gotta imagine him trying to take a pee that way. Back a little bit. Knee has a single joint. Of course, at the boot cut, we have a full swivel. We have a hinge and a swivel at the bottom. Now, the original Rattlor had a battle effect that when you pressed a button on his back, the head popped out for attack. But instead of doing that, they give us a piece to put in there to make it look like that just happened. I definitely think a lot of the Origins figures were designed more for display than for play. Here we have his tail. It's just kind of a rubbery substance. Basically rubber. And it has a plastic hook here that sticks in his back, and it's one of those things where once you put it in place, it's probably not coming off again without breaking it. Though the tail does not actually affect articulation, really. What it does affect in some cases is his ability to stand. Because it just kind of sits there and you have to like monkey with it in order to get him to stay. Now, in another one of those rare instances where I have the vintage figure with me, we can compare him to the vintage Rattlor. I will say, I do think this is one of those cases where the brighter colors do kind of look a bit better on the newer figure than on the old one. The vintage Rattler does not have as much of the knee bend as a lot of previous figures, but they both have this extra large torso here. His rattle still works. Sounds like they used bigger balls in there than in here. Anyway. But there's a lot of paint missing from his head, unfortunately. Maybe one of these days I'll go back and try to get him repainted. Because the eyes and the teeth, really. However, as mentioned before, he does have a battle feature. His head pops out. The fact that the spring is still that strong in there, too, is really nice. Because I've had to replace a spring in the vintage Ram Man in order to get it to work properly. And then in that case, I supercharged it. Thanks to instructions from Toy Polloi. I really do wish they had come up with a way to work the battle action actually in there as an action instead of this. I would have paid deluxe pricing to get for Origins Rattler to be able to actually do this. And I realized that, you know, they might have been able to fit the neck all the way in the torso here. And they still could have used the rattles, I'm sure, though they would have had to redesign the torso a bit more. But I bet the arms probably wouldn't come off again, which not really a bad trade-off, in my opinion, to get the actual feature. And of course, as some of you probably know, Rattlor's body has been reused in a blue color. I don't have that figure on me at the moment because I didn't think to grab it. I mean, update-wise, I do think that the vintage Rattlor or the updated Rattlor, the coloring does look better, though it is possible that this Rattlor has faded over time. Though with the rubber and the plastic both in the same color, I'm guessing that's actually the original color. But they did keep the design the same, though they didn't put any paint on the hands like they did on the previous version. The tail is definitely stuck on there a bit differently. It actually goes into the back, goes into the torso on the vintage one, where it doesn't actually do that here. So it is funny that they both sit at the same level. And of course, they did do the coloring all the way down the feet. And the belt's got the coloring. So overall, the Origins Rattler is definitely a nice addition to your collection. It's another one of those figures, though, where you're probably not going to use a whole lot of reuse on those parts for, well, not reuse, but like mixing and matching, because they're just not going to look right with most of the torsos. I did want to check out, and I should have thought about this earlier. I was wondering if the snake armor from Skeletor will fit on his larger torso, because if that does work, I think I will use that extra bit of snake armor that I have from when I did the near ultimate Skeletor build. I think I'll use that on him to make him look more like the general Rattlor instead of just Rattlor. But that'll do it for this review. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate your time. Peace and love.